So for the past few years over on my book talk account, I have been doing the TBR Takeover every June, which is a little like TBR challenge where I randomly pull a book out of the star for the entire month of June, and I have to read those books. There's like no skips or anything. And I did want to do something like that over here, but the thing with that is like my choosing videos are like they're like short and like perfect for TikTok, and I will upload them to shorts here. But I wanted to do something along those lines here on that would be more appropriate for booktube rather than book talk. So I decided I've never filmed a reading vlog before, and I really want to, but I've always been like kind of like I don't quite know how I want to format it or like what I want to like do exactly with that, like how I'm going to like film that almost. And then I decided, why not just go for it? And why not, instead of doing one book, we're going to do a month's worth of books. So for the entire month of June, while I'm doing my TBR takeover, I'm going to be vlogging every single book that I read for that, and we're going to compile them all here into this one video. So as of right now, I am very excited about this idea. I think it could be a lot of fun. We will see in a month or so if that is how it pans out. Like, I maybe will get through the entire month of vlogging, or I'll stop vlogging halfway through the first book. We'll see. This may never see the light of day. However, if I do end up committing to this and I don't want to stop, the way that I think this is going to work and the way that I want it to work is to film like my little choosing thing that will go both on my book talk and on my YouTube shorts here. And I will probably include a little bit of a snippet of me choosing the book in this, and then we'll do the reading vlog, and then I'll do like a very, very mini review of the book when I finish it. Hopefully. I am very bad at actually keeping up with the reviews. So let's do this. Let's plunge in the deep end. My first ever reading vlog will be a month worth of books and one video. This should get very chaotic and fun very fast. So it's currently May 31st, and I just picked the first book, which I will start tomorrow after work. So I'm so excited. I probably could have picked this tomorrow before work, but like I didn't want to wait. So the first book of the TBR Takeover is going to be The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I am so fucking excited that I pulled this book. This is going to be an absolute win. So the first book of TBR Takeover 2025 is going to be... Fuck yeah, this is gonna be fucking awesome! Okay, so I picked The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. Oh my god, yes! I am so excited about this. So everything that I know about this book before reading consists of, it's the spin-off series to the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab, who is one of my favorite authors, so it's guaranteed to be good. And two, there are characters from Shades of Magic who appear in this series. And that's everything I know about it. So hopefully this will be just as good as I think it's going to be. So it's currently 10:30 p.m. on June 1st, and I'm just about to start The Fragile Threads of Power, and I'm wondering at this moment, because it's been like almost 2 years since I read the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I haven't read it since then, so I'm really hoping that I don't need to remember too much from that, or that I remember enough, because I think at this point I think remember most of the major characters, and most of like the major plot events that happen in that trilogy, so hopefully I don't need to have a strong understanding of the world. I think also, looking on the brighter side of things, it might also be a good thing that I haven't had time to reread the Shades of Magic before starting this, because my views won't be... I love the Shades of Magic trilogy. My views won't be colored by that series at all because it's been so long since I last read it. So I'll be going into this with like a fresh perspective and not be constantly comparing it to Shades of Magic, which I think is ultimately beneficial. So I guess I'm gonna get started and I'll update you in a bit. So I'm currently about 100 pages into The Fragile Threads of Power, and I think I've reached a point where I did have to go back and read a summary of the Shades of Magic trilogy, because like I had no idea what the hell was going on. There were like events and characters referred to from Shades of Magic that I didn't feel like I remembered enough of. And yeah, so I think what's probably going to happen is when the sequel to Fragile Threads of Power comes out, the second book in the series, is I'm going to reread Shades of Magic and then reread Fragile Threads of Power before that, so then I'll have a very strong understanding of what's going on. But other than that, this book is going great. Okay, so I have just finished The Fragile Threads of Power, and like minutes ago, like I just closed the book, and I was going to do a review for this, but like I don't want this video getting too long because my phone hates exporting large files and my laptop is even worse, so we're gonna keep this short and sweet. My overwhelming thoughts after finishing this is, 1, I want to reread Shades of Magic, and 2, I want the next book in the series desperately. It took me a minute to get into it, but once I read a summary of Shades of Magic and understood stuff again and remembered what happened in that series, I started to get more into this. I definitely feel, in the terms of can you read this without reading the first trilogy first, I think the answer would be no. It's too interconnected. Like, some of the main characters from Shades of Magic are main characters in this. A lot of the plot of Shades of Magic like directly impacts this story. There's huge spoilers for Shades of Magic, so I definitely feel this is more of a direct sequel series rather than a spin-off series. I did also guess early on we had like a little like hidden, not quite hidden villain, but like a background villain character who I think is going to be like the main overarching villain for this series, and I did guess pretty early on who they were, and I was right. So that was like, it wasn't quite as subtle with that as I'd hoped, because I love a good hidden villain trope. It's my favorite trope. But other than that, this was really good. I really liked this. Am reminded again of why V. Schwab is my second favorite author after Sabbath here. This was really good, and I'm excited for more work, and I'm excited for more works in this series. I'm also kind of sad that we're not getting the next book in this series for quite a while, because I think Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil comes out tomorrow, and then I think the next release she's going to be having, I think, is Victorious, which is the third book in the villain series. So we're either getting the next Threads of Power book after Victorious, or there's another secret project that she's been outlining. So we'll see. I am going to go and pick my next book now. This one will be just as much as a banger, and I picked it, and it's unfolded, and it's going to be... Oh, okay, I think this one's a cozy fantasy. I picked The Shell Shop, so it should be down here. There it is. So my next read of the TBR Takeover is in fact going to be The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I'm going to admit I have no idea what this book is about. I'm fairly certain it's a cozy fantasy, and the inside of the book says it's a lush cottagecore tale full of stolen spellbooks, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. So I'm fairly certain it's going to be a cozy fantasy, which I think will be a very good follow-up to The Fragile Threads of Power, because where that was just chaos and a lot was happening and there's so many characters, this should just be low-key and fun and sweet. So I guess I'm going to read this next, and I'm kind of excited for it. I love going into books not knowing a single thing about them, so this should be interesting. Okay, so it is June 10th, and I'm just now sitting down to read The Shell Shop. I still can't say that word right. Spell Shop. But anyways, I'm excited for this. I have recently gotten, like, someone has told me that they also enjoyed it, so that filled me with a little bit more hope that I'm also going to like this, because I do like cozy fantasy, but so many of them are just mid, so I'm always worried that this one's not going to be, like, as good as I hope it's going to be. But anyways, my willpower is about to be tested like no other, because, like, just, like, 30 minutes ago, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, which is my most anticipated release of the year, showed up at my front door. So it's taking every ounce of willpower I have to not just completely abandon the TBR Takeover and read this right now. But it is in the TBR jar, so I might get lucky with one of these picks and I might end up pulling it. Hopefully, we'll see. I really hope that's what happens. So I just want to read this so badly. But anyways, we're gonna put that away, and we're gonna read this nice, lovely, cozy, fun, hopefully fun fantasy book. And hopefully it's good. So I guess I'll update you in a bit. Okay, so I'm about 100 pages into The Spell Shop, and my immediate thoughts are, this main character, Kiela or Kyla or whatever her name is so incredibly relatable with her, like, best friends, and her greatest comfort being books, and she hates talking to people, and she is the most introverted of introverts, and I find that incredibly relatable. And also, my favorite character so far in this book is the sentient magical spider plant, who is super anxious, and I love him. It's like, oh my god, I loved him immediately. We met him like the first page, and I immediately loved the spider plant. Oh my god.
2 days later.
Hi, so I've kind of momentarily forgot that I was supposed to be vlogging this, and since I recorded that last clip, I have since finished the book. It's been 2 days. This was really sweet. It was really cute, and I really enjoyed it. I think I'm settling on a 3.75. There are a lot of things that I really liked about it, especially, like, you know, the sentient cactus, and I have been craving jam for days, and jam is delicious. This book just made me want to eat jam all the time, which, not complaining, because jam. There's some
issues I had with some of the pacing of this book. I feel like things resolved themselves really, really quickly, and there were a lot of like convenience and stuff, which this is a cozy fantasy, so it's not supposed to be like super high stakes, but like I had a lot of issues with the pacing and how things just seemed to resolved, and there was just too conveniently, I think is what I'm trying to say. But anyways, it's currently 2:30 a.m. and I have to work tomorrow, so I'm going to go to bed and then I'll pick my next book when I get home.
Book number 3 of the TBR Takeover is in my hand, and it's going to be... Oh, okay. I've been putting this one off. I've been scared to read it because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. So I'm going to confidently turn the camera in this direction because I know where it is. So it's over here. Where is it? Wait, oh, it's right here. So book number 3 of the TBR Takeover is in fact going to be The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I'm not gonna lie, I've been putting off reading this book because my best friend has read this book and she didn't really like it, and we have very similar taste when it comes to books. So now I'm really worried that I'm not going to like it, and that's disappointing because I always want to love a book. But you know what? We're gonna go into this with a positive attitude. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe this will be like the very rare book that we don't agree on. It's gonna be fine. I also don't tend to read a lot of romance because I tend to use them as palate cleansers after like big fantasy series or big fantasy books. And I also do that with cozy fantasies as well. So the fact that I'm getting 2 books that I consider as palate cleansers for myself in a row, I'm hoping something big is coming. So it's about 10:30 p.m. right now, so I might be able to get like a good chunk out of this before I have to go to bed because I don't work until 2 p.m. tomorrow. So I might be able to get a start on this now if I start right now, and then I'll probably finish this over the weekend. I'm about halfway done the Spanish Love Deception. I think I'm just over halfway done, and I do have a few like mild thoughts at this point, namely is that it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be like very like meh about it, but currently I'm at a 4 stars. It's very enjoyable and kind of fun. I'm a little bit annoyed at like the 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of aspect to this relationship, which is driving me nuts when it like repeats itself for like 5 times. It's a little bit annoying. I'm also at this point because I'm just over halfway done and I still have a pretty good chunk of the book left, and I am wondering, because this is pretty long, like it's decently long for a romance book, so I am wondering if it needs to be this long at this point, but I guess we'll see in the next few pages. Okay, so I have just now finished The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and I do have a few quick thoughts that I do want to give on this book. So firstly, I think I'm landing on like a 3.5, maybe 3.25 for this book. We'll see how I feel when it's not 3 in the morning. I should maybe stop filming this late and just do it the next day, but it's fine. Sleep is for the weak. I think overall this book was pretty fun, but I'm not really in a romance mood right now. I was in a romance mood a couple weeks ago when I was reading a bunch of Ali Hazelwood, but since then I have fallen out of that romance mood. So that's the problem with the TBR Takeover sometimes, is that I'm a mood reader and sometimes I'm not in the mood for the book that it gives me, which can kind of impact my general enjoyment of the book. I think the first half of this book, I think this book is longer than it needs to be. There are some parts that felt like they kind of dragged for me. I think I mentioned earlier, when I was about halfway through the book, that I didn't like the 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing that we had going on with Lena here. Kind of drove me nuts after like the 5th time that happened. But then in the second half of the book, things felt like they were happening way too quickly, and I like a slow burn. I don't like insta love. It wasn't quite an insta love, but we did have a bit of a Pride and Prejudice trope going on here with like, you know, the guy being like head over heels in love with the girl and she just thinks that he hates her. But then the romance started to develop way too quickly, and especially in like the last 20 pages where it just kind of lost me entirely. I'm like, okay, this is a little bit too just like cringy for my taste. But anyways, that's another book I can knock off my TBR, so I'm now going to pick my next victim. Number 4 of the TBR Takeover is going to be this one on this little slip of paper right here, and it's going to be... Oh, okay. Oh, I think this one is one I got in an Owl Crate box a few months ago. I think it's... Actually, I'm not sure.
I can't find it. I think it's actually down there. So I think it might be behind this desk here.
Yeah. Found it.
So book number 4 is in fact going to be Castle of the Curse by Romina Garber. I got this in the Owl Crate 2024 box. When they're still doing like the paper cards. And I'm pretty sure this is a vampire book. I don't actually know what this book is about, but what I do know is that with the exception of Fable for the End of the World, which I read before I got the special edition of the Owl Crate box, this will be the first Owl Crate special edition book I have ever read, including the ones that I purchased years ago as like a one-time buy. Maybe I should actually read more of the books that I spend a lot of money on. So yeah, aside from the fact that I'm fairly certain this book is about vampires and maybe a cursed castle, judging by the title and the gothicness of all of this, I'm pretty sure that, like, I know nothing else about this book. So we're gonna start it tomorrow and we're gonna see how this goes. Okay, I've once again forgotten that I was supposed to be filming, but I have since finished reading Castle of the Cursed. That was not good at all. I think it's like a 1.75 stars. This was not good. I'll give my full thoughts or like fuller thoughts later, but I do really need to get to bed because I have to get up early for work tomorrow. But I'll film like a more coherent reviewish thing tomorrow after work if I remember, because apparently I'm not good with remembering that I film stuff with the camera. I'm not good at remembering that apparently. Okay, hi, it's the next day. I've gotten home from work. I've gone out for some ice cream. We're in a better place. We're not like mind-numbingly tired anymore. But anyway, so I finished Castle of the Curse by Romina Garber last night, and this was not good. As of right now, it is my lowest rated book of 2025 so far at a 1.75 star, which for me is really, really low because I don't normally give anything, like I barely rate anything below a 3-star, let alone below a 2-star. So this fucking sucked. My main problems with it, I think, were like the timeline, especially. I think this entire book takes place over 13 days, and I think that's not very beneficial for the story that this is trying to tell. It just seemed like things were way too fast-paced. There was like this romance plotline they were trying to push that they had no chemistry, first of all, like nothing between them, and they also fell in love in 13 days, which if you know me, this book definitely has insta-love. I don't care what you say, this is insta-love. If they freaking like they're like not really into each other for like maybe like one day, and then they're like in love with each other for the rest of the book, and I'm like, I don't get it. And then this also just has like these like random ass plot twists that appear out of nowhere, and then like pages of info dumping following the plot, just explaining why that plot twist is plausible, and this was bad. Also, can someone please explain to me how the hell this girl managed to learn Spanish in 2 days when I took French classes for 6 years and not a single bit of it stuck? I mean, some days I can barely speak English. So anyways, yeah, this book sucked. I never want to think about it again, and I'm going to go pick my next book, so I'll be back in a second. Next book, book number 5 at the TBR Takeover, is going to be... Why did I look at this and then think that, you know what, I have a feeling this is going to be the next one. So we pulled Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which is my only unread Leigh Bardugo book. So book number 5 of the TBR Takeover is in fact going to be Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I am so excited for this book. This is my only unread Leigh Bardugo book that I own, because of course I haven't read Hellbent yet, but I don't even own Hellbent. So this will be the only unread one that I own. And if you don't know who Leigh Bardugo is, she's the author of the Grishaverse, so that's like Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone and all of that. And Ninth House is her adult debut. She has a few other adult novels out now, but this is her first adult one that came out a few years ago, and I'm so excited for this. I think this is definitely going to be a lot higher than the 1.75 that I gave Castle of the Cursed. So I think this is guaranteed to be a win. It's Leigh Bardugo, guaranteed win. Okay, hi. So I have about 200 pages left of Ninth House, and it occurred to me that I, once again, have not been filming any of this since I started reading it. So just a quick update. So I have just under 200 pages left. I'm hoping maybe to finish it tonight, although I'm already really tired. It's about 9:30 p.m. and I do have to work semi-early tomorrow morning. So I'm going to try to get this done so then I can hopefully pick one more book that I can hopefully read in 3 days before the end of June. But we'll see. But anyways, so yeah, I'm 290 pages into this book, and it's so good. I didn't actually expect it to like it as much as I did. I forgot that this was a dark academia. It's also I don't know what I was expecting, but it's also like it has a lot of horror elements in it, which I'm getting more into horror lately, so that's really good for me. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. The world is so fucking interesting. It's just taking me a bit to get through because it's been a week and I'm so tired. So I'm hopefully going to try to finish this tonight, so I guess I'll see you later. I still have about 50 pages left, but fuck, this book is so good. I've noticed that I've been more apathetic about the books I've been reading lately, more than usual, so it's always something when a book makes me feel any kind of strong emotion, even if it has me absolutely sobbing for pages on end.
Okay, so I didn't really record any of me actually reading the book, but I did just finish Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and holy shit, what a phenomenal, amazing, all of the amazing words book that this was. This was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what I was expecting going into this book, but it was so much darker than what I was expecting, to the point where I almost cannot believe that this is by the same author who wrote the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I don't want to say too much about this book because I genuinely like the experience of going into this book knowing pretty much nothing as to what it's about. I knew dark academia, and that was kind of about it. I didn't really know that it was going to be a horror book or have horror elements at the very least. But this was so fucking good. Oh my god. I would definitely check trigger warnings before going into this because I didn't check trigger warnings, and I paid the price for it. I find very few things in books upsetting or triggering, but when I do, it doesn't get pretty. This book made me cry in a way that I have not cried in quite some time, and I desperately want to pick up the sequel immediately. Anyways, there are about 3 more days left in June, so I'm going to try and squeeze one more book in, so hopefully it'll be a short one. Book number 6, the final book of the TBR Takeover 2025 is going to be... Oh, this is a really short one, and it's also another weird one, and probably something that's probably a very good follow-up to Ninth House. And this one, I believe, is also on my 2025 TBR. I think Ninth House was as well. And it's just down here. So the final book of the TBR Takeover is going to be The Book Eaters by Sydney Dean. I am actually really excited for this book. I'm pretty sure it's on my 2025 TBR as well, and I think Ninth House was as well. So we're getting through my 2025 TBR at the same time, so we're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. But I actually don't really know much about this book other than that I think it's about creatures who eat books, and not like bookworms, like literal like a secret line of people for whom books are food. Great, delightful. Shouldn't be upsetting for me at all as someone who does not like harming books. I also feel like this might be a good follow-up to Ninth House because I very much so just want to dive immediately into Hellbent, but I can't because I'm still bound by the rules of the TBR Takeover, and we are still subject to the whims of the TBR jar. And I also don't own Hellbent yet, so I need to acquire that as soon as I can because I just want to read it right now. But hopefully reading this should hopefully scratch that itch. At the very least, it should be a good palate cleanser to get me ready for the books that I desperately want to read in July. So I'm going to start this tomorrow when I get home from work, and hopefully it's a perfect way to end our TBR Takeover.
Okay, so it's currently July 1st, which means I didn't hit my original goal of finishing this book by the end of June. So I only read 5 books in June, and this one will count towards my July reads. And but I only have about 80 pages left, and I've decided I'm going to continue vlogging until I finish this book, which hopefully should be tonight, even though it's technically July 2nd, but like in terms of reading, I don't count books on the next day until I sleep. So until I sleep, it's still July 1st for me. So I'm hopefully going to finish this tonight, and then I'll do a little review, and then I'll hopefully be able to do my TBR Takeover wrap up, and then that should be the end of this until next year, and then we'll see if this vlog ever actually sees the light of day, which if you're saying this, then that means yes, I did in fact manage to find the will to edit a month's worth of footage into something that my phone does not want to, you know, explode over. In terms of the book eaters in particular though, I am really enjoying it. It's not quite a 5-star, but I think the political system for like the book eaters and the mind eaters and all that, it's super interesting. Obviously it feels a lot like more historical society with like the patriarchy and how women are viewed only as like commodities, but it's especially interesting in a modern day setting, especially with like how that dynamic kind of coexists with the way human society is set up now. I find that really interesting. And yeah, I have about 80 pages left. We're about to get into what I think is going to be the big climax of this book, and then we'll be done. And then I technically don't have to touch the TBR jar for another year, which, okay, I love the TBR jar though, so maybe I'll pick some more books throughout the year.
Okay, so it's currently July 2nd, so the TBR Takeover is officially over, and I finished the Book Eaters by Cindy Dean last night, and I didn't technically finish this in June, but it does count towards the TBR Takeover because it is a book that I pulled out of the jar. But anyways, this book was really good. I don't know what I actually expected from this book because I knew nothing going into it, but essentially it's like the title is very literal because the main character is from this species that eats paper to, like, you know, to survive. It's their food. That's what they eat. Except occasionally there's an eater child born who doesn't eat books, but they eat like minds. Like they have like this tubular tongue that they stick in your ear and then they suck out your brain. It's very graphic in that sense. And obviously the book eaters don't like it when a mind eater is born, so what they usually do is they'll either kill a child or send it off to live with like a group of other book eaters called knights that like use the mind eaters to like control the rest of the book eater population. Our main character Devin doesn't want that to happen to her son, so instead she flees with him. And then stuff happens. I think that's the only book in this entire video that I actually bothered summarizing in my mini review for it, so there you go. But anyways, I really liked this book. The social politics of this book was so good. The politics of like book eater society is really good and how they like exist within like the human world, and I especially loved like they have very like more historical patriarchal ideals in terms of like it felt very like, I don't know, almost Victorian in the way that they handle like marriage and their populations, and it's really interesting to see how that kind of society exists in a modern world. I also had an inexplicable craving for paper while I read this, and I kept looking at my bookshelf, like looking at the books and be like, that one looks crunchy. Like I don't know. Yes, I did eat paper as a child. Anyways, that is it for the TBR Takeover. I ended up reading 6 books in total, which I think is the same amount that I read last year, which is weird coincidence. 5 of those books are going to count towards my June reading, one of them is going to count towards my July reading, but I love this so much. I love the TBR Takeover so much. It's always such a fun month when I just pull books out of the jar for an entire month. I can't do it for any longer than that though, because like there are some books that I desperately want to get to now, and I'll have a shorter video explaining or like showcasing 5 of those books that I desperately want to read right away on this page, and my other ones as well probably. Finished the Book Eaters last night, and then I immediately got like decision paralysis because like I can read whatever I want now. I don't have to have this little jar tell me what to do. I can read whatever the hell I want, and nobody can decide for me otherwise. That's all. I actually have to read the June book club book still, because I never actually got to that in June, and that's coming up, so I should read that. So the ultimate goal of the TBR Takeover was to lower my TBR, try to get it down a little bit, and the big question is, was I successful in that? No. I made the mistake of not putting myself on a book buying ban, so I bought pretty much the same amount of books that I read, so my TBR didn't actually, I don't think it went down at all, or maybe it went down by 1, but which is pretty much nothing when my TBR is already like 230 books long. It's fine. So I think next time I do this, maybe I'll put myself on like an actual book buying ban, because buying whatever the hell I want while I'm trying to lower my TBR isn't working out for me. So I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to end this. I don't know how reading vloggy that was. It might just be a lot of time lapses of me reading followed by like my shaky camera close-ups of me reacting to the book or just like telling my thoughts at any specific moment. I don't know how this is going to be formatted. I don't know how this is going to turn out after a month of filming. I have to go through my camera roll now and find usable footage. So I'm gonna go.